And welcome back. Like I said, we're going to stick with politics here today. We want to welcome from the Republican Club, Pat Mincone, and Brigadier General Michael Aguilar. Thank you for joining us. You're going to be our guest speaker at the Republican Club coming up, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm very excited to be able to share the exciting news about the Flying Leatherneck Aviation Museum.
Okay.
Wow, I can't wait
now,
to
Pat,
hear more
how
about
did you
that.
how did you come to meet General Aguilar, and how did you get him to come to the meeting? And
Yeah, well, I met him in the spring. Another club in the area, the Saddleback Valley Club, invited him to come, and I saw him. I heard he was coming, and we're having our veterans event, and I said, "Ooh, I think I'd like to invite him." So I went and heard him, and he gave a great presentation. That's how I met him, and I just met him also recently at the prayer breakfast in Costa Mesa. So we're excited about having him.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your history and your career.
Well, in 1,000 words or less, born in Los Angeles, raised in the suburbs of Torrance, went to Long Beach State, joined the Marine Corps to see the world, and 75% of my career was spent here at Camp Pendleton. I flew Cobra helicopters, and 75% of the Marine Corps helicopters are for attack helicopters are at Camp Pendleton. So I ended up with 75% of my career there, with a little detour to Marine Corps to MCRD San Diego, where I had the privilege of being the director of the drill instructor school. Only aviator to do that, I think, up to this point. After that, I came back to Camp Pendleton, flew in squadrons, had the opportunity to command a squadron, HMLA 267. I also had an air group, and I had the air group at Camp Pendleton again. And then finally, I was taken back to Washington, D.C., where I had to spend my tour in Washington, D.C., down to Miami, Florida, towards the end of my career, and retired out of Miami, and then came back home to California.
So you didn't really get a chance to see the world,
Well,
you got to bounce around a little bit in the U.S.?
No.
Did you
In
go?
fact, during that time, you always deploy. So I
Okay.
made several deployments on board ship out of Camp Pendleton, went to the first Gulf War.
Did you?
And then while I was down at Miami, I was the commanding general for the Joint Task Force that turned the Panama Canal back over to the government of Panama. So I saw a good part of the world. In one of my tours in Washington, I was the military assistant to the Undersecretary for Policy in the Department of Defense. So I had the opportunity to travel all around the world with him in that capacity.
okay. Now, one of your latest missions is going to be at the Fort El Toro Marine Corps Air Station, now known as the Great Park. What do you got going over there?
An exciting project. The Flying Leatherneck Aviation Museum actually began at Marine Corps Air Station El Toro, now called Great Park. When it closed in '99, the air station, along with the museum, moved down to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, where we operated for 21 years. Unfortunately, it had to close. It was a Marine Corps museum. It had to close, but we were fortunate to be contacted by the city of Irvine, who asked us if we would discuss the opportunities with the Marine Corps to move the museum back to its original home, Marine Corps Air Station El Toro.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we have now a private-public partnership between the city of Irvine, the Marine Corps, and the Flying Leatherneck Historical Foundation, which I'm the president and CEO of, to build a new facility at Great Park. In the meantime, we're transporting 40 aircraft from Miramar to El Toro, a great site going down the freeway. We're in the process of moving our last 7 aircraft, along with thousands of micro artifacts. They're all in storage at an old World War II hangar at Irvine, Great Park. We're now restoring the aircraft.
This is so exciting.
Building a
we
museum.
need to be covering this.
Yes,
Out on the-
it is.
Out in the field and watching those. We need to film those gorgeous machines going down the freeway.
We are moving them this week, so I'll let you know, and you can grab some great shots of that.
Wow. I can't wait to see this. So is your helicopter going to be there?
Believe it or not, one of our 2 Cobra helicopters, I actually have flight time in the aircraft. So it's fitting that both of us end up at the museum.
There you go. You know, I grew up here in El Toro when it was still called El Toro, and I saw the helicopters going all the time. Of course, the jets coming in El Toro, but the Tustin air station as well. So it was amazing to see the sound of freedom almost every day going over our house.
Of course,
and
the
those
great air
days.
shows they used to put on
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I've been to so many of those. I used to sit on the Bake Street Bridge and watch them from there. It's great.
sure.
The Blue Angels going over. Oh yeah, such a great time.
Great show.
No, Pat. A real quick change of subject though.
Yeah.
Between now and the election, the Republican Club is going to be pretty active. What if some of the things you have
we
going
are.
on?
Well, we have people making calls, Michael. We have people walking neighborhoods to encourage everyone to get out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to have a ballot marking party this coming Saturday. We had one a couple weeks ago. We're going to have one this coming Saturday at Clubhouse 5 at 2 o'clock. And we're encouraging people to come. We review the candidates and go over the propositions, which are always really tricky. And then we're also going to be having people, they can bring in their ballots. If they come to the ballot marking party, they can come and bring their ballots, and we deliver them to the registrar of voters in person. So that's going to be going on, and let's see. And then we have our meeting, of course, coming up. That's exciting. We're really excited about the meeting because not only to have General Aguilar, but we want to invite all of our Laguna Woods veterans to come and be our guests, have a complimentary lunch at this luncheon.
It's going to be at Clubhouse 5, right?
Yes, Clubhouse 5,
Okay.
Friday, November 1st, 11 to 2. But we ask all our club member veterans, they'll be our guests too. But if veterans in the village want to come, we'd love to have them. They just need to call. We have to have an RSVP so we have enough food.
Gotcha.
Call Patty Zingaro at 303-886-9600. But we'd love to have them join us.
Terrific.
That would be an excellent
And to hear, of course.
outing for them as well.
Our keynote speaker. We also have another speaker we have a spotlight hour after lunch. We have a gentleman, his name is Brian Horseman. He's the new chairman for the Honor Flight Southland. And Michael knows them too. He'll be presenting the program that they have to taking our veterans back to D.C. Many of these veterans, especially the World War II veterans, had been going many years. We're now having more Vietnam veterans going back to D.C. So we're excited about presenting that program as well. And we raise money every year to send our veterans back there.
Yeah, and some of them have, they lived with the pain of Vietnam for so long. They've never gone back to see those memorials. They've never gone to see the honor that was bestowed upon them on the mall out there. And so it's a great effort to bring them out there and do that.
Yes. It's such a worthy cause. We love doing it.
That's terrific.
And Pat, are you going to be incorporating any types of election activities, day of? What do you have planned for that day?
Yeah, we
Have a watch party?
don't have anything. You know, I know our friends on the other side are having a watch party. No, we haven't. We're so busy with the election. I really haven't had a chance to think about that. No, we're not doing that.
Just after you vote.
But we are going to celebrate after the election. We're going to set up a celebration after the election to celebrate the election.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
General, what got you to say you want to be involved in all of this? You could be retired, enjoying your golden years, but you're still active in kind of making sure that these planes are memorialized, the men and women who served are memorialized.
Well, as you know, once a Marine, always a Marine. And it's my opportunity now as I move along in my years here to share with the public, I think, some very important storylines, if you will. Of course, the first one for us is to honor the history and legacy of Marine Corps aviation. It's a museum, but more than that, it's an education center.
Absolutely.
All museums should be in education, and our emphasis is on education. So in addition to honoring the history and legacy of Marine Corps aviation, we're hoping our museum, our displays, will inspire a new sense of patriotism with our youth and all our visitors. On top of that, mentioning the veterans, what we're finding, because we do allow some veterans come and visit us at our hangar where we're storing the aircraft, it's a safe haven for veterans. They're in a comfortable space. So the museum, and our museum, we hope, will be a safe haven for them. Lastly, because we think it's critical to ensure our position in the world, our economic position in the world that contributes to security, that we inspire our youth to pursue the science, technology, engineering, and math disciplines.
Yes.
So that's what's got me all excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much, Republican Club, and
Sounds
General
amazing.
Aguilar. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Michael.